Hey, this is Dr. Bob with Carolina Value Pet Care. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be talking about a really important topic that a lot of people kind of neglect, and that's dental care. So we're going to go over everything you need to know about dental care. Well, not everything, but most of what you need to know about dental care for your dog. I have with me my lovely assistant Becky. She's going to be asking some questions, so let's get into it.
Dr. Bob, how does dental health impact the overall health of my dog?
Best way I'm going to answer to this question is think about your own your own sort of care, self care, self love that you have for yourself. Can you imagine if you had sore teeth all the time? If you had like a toothache or tooth abscess and you know about it, but maybe nobody else does, then you can imagine the misery you must be in. Think about your own dog. They can't tell you if they have a dental problem. But oftentimes we can just kind of lift their lip and we can see a lot of tartar, we can see gum infection, we can just get that horrendous breath. Sometimes your dog has difficulty eating, they might be drooling when they eat. So, yeah, you can imagine the impact of sore teeth or sore gums might have on your dog's health and well being.
How can I care for my dog's teeth at home?
Best to start when they're young, if you can, with actually trying to brush. Now think about this with people. Yeah, yes. Occasionally we go to, I say occasionally, once maybe twice a year, we'll go to the dentist, have our teeth cleaned. Even though, guess what we're doing? Most of us every day we're brushing our teeth twice a day, every day, and yet we still feel the need or find the need to have to go to a dentist once or twice a year for routine maintenance for the deeper cleaning that we can't do with the brushing. So we still find that at home, the gold standard for people is brushing. So how many of y'all out there are actually brushing your dog's teeth? Yeah, I'm not seeing too many hands out there. It's pretty rare that we get a client who's actually brushing, but my gosh, we can tell the difference when somebody does bring a dog in who actually is brushing their dog's teeth. But the earlier you start, the better chances of success. And we are going to be getting more into the sort of the mechanics of how to brush your teeth here in just a short while.
What are some signs and symptoms of dental disease in dogs?
Probably the biggest thing is just going to be lack of appetite because it's just so painful for them to eat. Or if you try to get around their face, they might get a little bit snippy. Ordinarily, they may not be just because, again, they're just so painful. They don't want you to touch them around that area. Horrendous breath in many cases. I mean, you can just get within a zip code of them, and you can smell their breath is just so horrendous. So those are going to be some of the primary ways. But otherwise, because they just can't tell you if their teeth hurt or their mouth hurts. Sometimes dogs, because they're hurting so much, and cats too, they're not going to eat well. So they'll actually gradually start to lose weight because they're just not. It just hurts too much for them to even chew. So now sometimes they'll actually just kind of swallow the food best they can. That's the alternative they can only hope for if their teeth are just hurting too much for them to chew.
What are some of the common dental diseases in dogs?
Yeah, so basically, kind of starting from the outside and outside. First, it's going to be what we call gingivitis. Gingivitis is actually a gum infection. So sometimes you can lift your pet's lip and you see instead of kind of a nice pink color, it's red. It looks like it's on fire sometimes, and it might be just around the gum line and a little bit above the gum line. Might be nice and pink. Yeah, that's what we call gingivitis. Next would be periodontal disease. The periodontal disease is actually more involving the roots of the teeth. Now, of course, just think about when you go to the dentist and they actually take a little probe and they're actually looking for little what we call pockets where there's going to be some separation from of the sort of the gums from the teeth. We do the same thing when we do dentals in dogs as well because we're trying to get a sense of just how much sort of periodontal disease or how much separation of the tooth root structure, how much separation there is from the root from the gums, because that's telling us there's active disease going on.
Why is early detection and diagnosis of dental disease so important?
Quite simply because we're trying to prevent the downstream problems of periodontal disease and gingivitis and the pain that's associated with it, because that's going to have such a huge impact on the quality of your pet's life.
How often should my dog's teeth be checked?
Well, every time, if you go to your full service veterinarian, if they're doing a complete examination, that is one of the sort of the standards of any exam is actually to take a look in the mouth best we can. Again, some dogs are not going to be cooperative in that way, but we can always at least find a way of at least looking at the gums and the outer portion of the teeth, even if we can't get into your dog or cat's mouth to see what's happening on the inside. So those are the key thing is actually just having that evaluation, that annual visit, where they can actually look and see what your pet's oral cavity, the mouth, the teeth, the gums, the tongue, what they look like.
What is a professional dental cleaning like for a dog?
Yeah, so good question. And of course, obviously we're speaking of dogs, but I also want to make sure that we include cats in this conversation as well. So quite simply, if they're going to have a dental cleaning, it is going to have to be done under anesthesia. Unfortunately, there's no dog or no cat that's going to cooperate and sit there and let us use the same sort of a tools that you and I, that we use on the human side. And we do, and we use the exact same type of equipment for dogs and cats as we use for pets, for people. Think about it, if you were sitting in your dentist chair and think about it, maybe you're there for 45 minutes up to about an hour. Can you imagine your dog or your cat being that still for an hour? No, not going to happen, period. So they do have to be anesthetized for an appropriate and a thorough dental cleaning. But the difference can be such a huge impact for a lot of these dogs and cats, just to clean up all that nasty bacteria, debris, what we call plaque and tartar. One other consideration, yes, a lot of full service veterinarians, of course, every full service veterinarian is going to be in the situation where they will do dental cleanings on your dogs and cats. I will bring to attention there are some, not all, but some spay neuter clinics that also do dental cleanings. They don't do extensive dental care, but they will do dental cleaning. So they can be doing the procedure for considerably less than what you would pay your full service clinic. And yes, of course, your pets are anesthetized just as they would be with a full service clinic. So do give that consideration. So if you're wanting to get some dental care done for your pet, at least give some consideration to go into a local spay neuter clinic if they offer that service. So hopefully that helps. So we're going to go do a little bit more deeper dive into the dental care here in just a minute. But thanks for joining us.